Addiction counsellors say there are indications that drug activity in Ireland has increased since the start of the recession. An estimated 10,000 people were on heroin substitute programmes last year. That's a 20% increase over the previous 4 years. Now counsellors say there are signs that use of crack cocaine is increasing. But drug programmes are facing cutbacks of 15% this year. In the second of two special reports on addictive behaviour, John Coleraine reveals how a cash shortfall is hampering the efforts of experts providing treatment for drug users.
Just off the quays in Dublin's South City, drug addicts use this derelict site as a so-called shooting gallery to inject drugs. It's a source of ongoing concern locally.
We wouldn't be too far from Merchants Quay. They would get their needles and they probably would be scored or beside buying one in the area. So this would probably be the first open site that would come onto them. When they come in here, they're shooting, openly shooting. We can see that they're shooting into the groin area. So they're exposing themselves. There's children walking by the fence. The fences are not blocked off, they can see in. And to me, it's a normalisation of what goes on around a child.
The Merchants Quay project distributes needles to hundreds of addicts every day. But the centre is on the tourist trail, and business representatives would like to see services shared by other areas in Dublin.
56% of all of the services and outlets for the Dublin region for the provision of these services is in city centre. Now clearly what is needed is to have a decentralised system so that these people can get treatment in a wider area, and of course then the drug lords won't be able to target them as easily and make them even more victimised as a result of recruiting them to sell.
But drug user representatives say it's homelessness that has addicts on city centre streets.
There is a line to be drawn between what's criminality or antisocial behaviour and just what is people existing. Unfortunately, there is a lot of homeless people in Dublin. Unfortunately, drug use is a big issue among the homeless, and likewise homelessness is a big issue among drug users, where people are just hanging around with nothing to do. There needs to be interventions there, but nothing as heavy-handed as arresting people or locking people up is needed. They need to be engaged with services.
Treatment workers say there are signs of a general upsurge in drug activity all over Dublin in the past 18 months, growing with the economic crisis. There are people openly claiming to have crack for sale.
Good crack as well.
Yeah, look, crack.
20 euro.
And while it's mainly hardcore addicts who are involved in this, crack use is thought to be increasing.
There is evidence that crack cocaine is beginning to take hold in some communities, particularly poorer communities. And of course, if crack cocaine spreads, we're going to have a much more difficult problem to deal with, and one that will cause, again, untold antisocial behaviour and untold health damage to individuals and families and communities.
Treatment workers are meeting here to discuss government cutbacks of around 15%. They want money seized by the Criminal Assets Bureau to be used for treatment.
There is a tiredness out there among the community voluntary sector who've been given out for years and thought we were making progress, but now that progress seems to be slipping away. We need to get back to a situation where we prioritise the drugs issue.
That was Fergus McCabe of the drug treatment group Citywide, ending that report by John Coleraine. And for more information on this story, and of course all stories, you can check out our website at rte.ie/news. Brian.
Now more of today's home news from some of our reporters and correspondents.
A 49-year-old man who swindled potential tenants in a Dublin 4 apartment rental scam has pleaded guilty to more fraud charges. Dublin Circuit Criminal Court previously heard that Joseph O'Connor from Ballyfermot, who's now homeless, had defrauded 12 people out of almost €30,000. Today he admitted using forged bank drafts in a separate scam. Sentencing has been delayed to allow Mr O'Connor complete treatment for alcoholism.
A coroner's court in Galway has returned a verdict of unlawful killing in the case of Manuela Rido, the Swiss teenager who died in the city 2 years ago. Coroner Michael McLaughlin offered sincere condolences on behalf of the people of Galway to the parents of the 17-year-old English language student who was raped and murdered by Gerald Barry. Barry was